Last class we had, I sent a lot of materials to us. The reason was that I want us to digest the use and application and the total understanding of Microsoft Structure Query Language and how you can apply it. It's not all about coding. There's some history behind it, and there is how it evolved over the years until get to the stage where we are now, which is the relational database management system, and it's continuing to evolve just to make things easy, especially when you have to do with large data, very big data. Some data grows into millions, and this platform allows us to structurally uh, keep such data so that when we want to generate information, now the coding now is what help you to call up those information and give you exactly what you are looking for. So from the notes that I give, because today what we are going to do today is on joins. Joins are very critical in this structured query language enterprise. So in the notes that I give, I want to visit one of those notes. So let me share the screen so that I can able to put up that note for us to see it and yes, and appreciate it. So let me share my screen before we now go to coding again, because it's good to know it too. So I hope you can see my screen, and if you can, this is one of the notes, and we are just looking at the joins. This note is not my notes, it's from the internet. I got it, but it is very good for what we are doing. So I have to acknowledge that, and then we now use it. So joins is how different data. Remember, the tables that we are using has an origin. That is why it is called structured query language. The tables or the joining factors are static. The table have column and it has row, and you want to work with any table to get insights and possibly draw out visualization. It means you can be able to manipulate those tables that are not one. They may be various tables. Now you now hinge on the relationships. Remember when we are doing Power BI, and when we do the even Excel, when we are doing Power Query, we're able to go deep to see the relationship between tables, which will help us to bring out visuals. That is what joins is all about. So joins is talking about how we can join information that is in two tables or more in order to draw out useful insights or to draw out useful information. So this one says SQL join. This statement allows us to access information from two or more tables at once. So whenever we're talking of tables of joins, we're talking about the ability to access more than one table and to get important uh, insight. So it's a statement, SQL join statement. So when we move up, we have different types of joins. Like what we have here at the main one, we have plenty, but you have to know one step first before you now advance to further steps. So we have inner join, we have left join, we have right join, and we have full join. So all these have definition of meaning. So when we move now to the inner join, you can see the table of inner join. So inner join returns. So when you use an inner join, the output or the outcome or the result is what you are saying. Say it returns data sets that have matching values in both tables. Remember, in mathematics, we have this Venn diagram or set theory. In set theory, we are looking at what is common between two tables or three, or what is then you call it intersection, and we have union. The same idea applies here. So you can see this is table 1, this is table 2. Now for inner join, what we are only interested in is the thing that is common. What is common to the two tables? You see it is painted in red or pink color. This is what is our area of interest. So that is when you use this kind of join, you are not looking at all the qualities in the two tables, but what is common to both of them. That is what is going to be thrown out for query. When you put up query, that is what you give us. So this is how it is done. You select a statement, you go to column name. Remember, column is those names on top of a table, maybe age, maybe name, maybe address on top. Then you now begin to see information below. These are the column. Then the rows, we have different filling against the column. So you select the column name that you want to work with. Then you go to the table where you want to do your work. Now look at how it's done here. You see we selected column name. That means the column which you are interested in to see the join. Now we are saying where are we taking it from table 1. This is table 1. Remember we are doing inner join. We have first of all drawn out table 1 and kept by one side. Then we will now come now to do that joining I was talking about. So the inner join will now take table 2. So now, but there is something that must join table 1 and table 2. That is what is common. Remember, we have primary keys, we have secondary keys, or foreign keys. Now, these keys are what helps us to perform these joins. These keys, they are very, very important. So you see, when you say, what is this? Which one is primary key? Which one is foreign key? They are very, very important. They are not there for nothing. So you see that now you are doing this select from a table and you're joining another table. Now it is based on something. So this is another language statement on for table 1 dot. That means you are picking table 1 and that column name in table 1, which is equal to table 2, that's column name. So on many cases, this column name and column name for table 1 and 2 are almost or always similar. It is not always in all cases, but in majority of the cases, it is very, very similar. So that is it for inner join. Then we'll have left join. Now left join, having two tables standing side by side, and we'll have intersection. We are saying that tables that are selected using the left join, we are looking at everything in the left hand side of table 1, and now we are going to pick from table 2 only those things that are relevant that can be seen in table 1. That is what we are going to pick. Anything that is not intersection or interceding or mixing with table 1 cannot be taken. So you say it returns all the records from the left table. Remember, all the record, no one name is left behind. Then you now match record. So the record that is matching the record for table 1 in table 2 will also be, which is from the right hand side, will also be joined. That is all about left join. So the same idea, you pick column name, then from table 1, we are doing left join now. That means you are bringing up the join, but the originator is from the left hand side. So you now say left join. So this left join is taking up table 2. So again, on where what is predicating it? So on table 1 column name and table 2 column, there must be an identity. Something must join them together. So the third one is right join, just the same thing we have just done now, but this time around now we are picking everything on table 1 and joining only the matching record in table 2, and we go ahead to join. Then the last one for this simple illustration, the remaining, as you continue to read, you get to see main. We have full join. Now in full join, we are not segregating. It returns all record when there is a match in either the left table or the right table. So once there is a relationship between this table, then everything is taken both from table 1 and table 2. It is called full join. And most time we hardly use full join because it will make our work long, but it's in theory it's very good we know it. Now this is table 1. We select the column name, then from table 1 we now go ahead to get whatever that is linking relationship is there, where because we're having full outer join or full join at the same thing. So we are picking them up with something that must be in unison with it. So you cannot give a condition. In condition or in where clause, we are looking at selecting or filtering our work. So this is it about our joints. So we'll now go straight ahead to see how far we can be able to pick one or two work. Even if I don't finish, I will send you the notes of the work that I have already done. It is not for you to just sit down over it. It's for you to replicate that. It is in replicating it that it tends to stick and you become master of it. So we are going to go to the work for today. So we'll go to our SQL table. I hope you can see my table. It indicates that you can see the table. Hello?
Yes, sir, I can see, sir.
Okay, so let's continue. So today we are going to look at join. We have just touched on the theory of join. We are now going to come down again to coding. So this is majorly theory. Anybody can read theory, but coding, you have to be sure of what you are doing. So we're going to do SQL joins. We're going to look at various forms of joins and see how far we can go. But wherever we stop at the time limit, I'm going to forward the note for today, which contains whatever we're supposed to cover today, because they are the same thing, just trying to bring one idea so that the basic idea is the same. We're just changing different tables, but once you know the basic idea, that's what you should be expecting as we change table, so that we'll be on the same page. So normally when you write this, you come here and you comment it. Then what are we doing today? We are looking at joins. I'm going to join product table and product subcategory table. So now we have moved from just opening this thing to now going into joining different tables, because that is where we get our work graded. That is where we separate the boys from the men. So to do that, we go again and open up our server. We go to our database. We have opened it already, 2022 database. So we go and select, and we are selecting everything. I hope you are becoming conversant with these things we are doing. So which table are you going to take it? We are going, first of all, just like what we have done in that theory, we are going to the product table. So we'll go to production product table under P, the production product table. We'll copy it and we'll bring it over, Control V. This time around we are going to use alias. We say that alias represents whatever we want to do. SQL allows us to do that. So we say as PP, so that it's easy for us to understand production products. What we are doing is that when we are doing the joining, it will be easy. We don't have to be writing long write-up like production product, very long. We just put PP, we have covered what we want to do, because we are going to use it on an ID. That is why the idea behind that. So if we have done this, the next thing is what to do, what to do the inner join. Remember, we say inner join is looking at the intersection, the thing that is common between two tables. So inner join, when you are writing join, always be careful of the spelling. You miss it, you will not get your answer. Inner join. So what are we trying to look at? We are looking at production subcategory. So we go to production subcategory column and pick the table. Production subcategory. This production subcategory, we pick it, and we come here and place it. And we can also give it also an alias. So we call it as subcategory SC. So after doing that, the next thing now is for us to now do the joining. Can bring it close, can give, doesn't matter. So you have first of all selected everything from production product and you left it as PP. Then you go again and you want to join another table, which is the production subcategory table, and you call it SC. Now where are you joining? You are joining it on this key. So you bring out the on statement. So when you have done that, you now write your PP. Remember, this PP is this name, and you put a point. So you go to production products and look at what is common, the key that is common to these two tables. So when we go up to production products, you have products ID is a key. When you come there, you have unit, size unit measure, it's a foreign key but it's a key. Weight unit measure, product subcategory, and product, these are all keys. So for us to join this, we are going to use the product subcategory. The reason is that when you come down to the another table, which is the product subcategory, you see if this product ID key is there. Let's go there and check. This is product subcategory. You can see you have only two keys, one for one primary key and one secondary key. But the primary key here is product subcategory and foreign key is product category. But when you go up, remember we want to join two tables now. So when you go up, discover that we have as a key product subcategory. It's a secondary key here, but it's the same key. So we can now do our work by joining this key. So we'll copy it and we'll come here and we'll place it. So we are using product subcategory key and we say is equal to, the next thing we are doing is what? SC. SC is product subcategory itself. So we'll now write it SC, and remember that we also have product subcategory both in the production product table and also in our product subcategory. See it. So we'll now copy it too and come here and we'll paste it. So you see that this is common to the two of them. So this is the basis of joining. So if we have gotten this, we'll come now and we'll run the key, run the work. execute and we'll see. See, it has given us an answer. So the row is 295 row. So this is what is common to the two. We have been able to do that. And now this is a new table. You can actually take this table to anything and chart, even in Power BI or Tableau or even Excel. You can chart this and get visualization. That is what we are saying here. So we can do more. So let's go again and look at another one. So this time we are going to select. What are we selecting? We are selecting from production product table, and we are selecting from product subcategory. I'm selecting it. I want to see what it will give us. So to select that, we are not taking everything as we did in the first table, we are taking some. So we'll come here, we say PP for product production table. Now, because we are joining now, we are using this abbreviation to tell us the table we are picking what from, so that we don't have confusion. So we're picking from a particular table. So for us not to be in a confusion, we give it an abbreviation that represent that table. So from production product table, we are going to pick something. So we go to production product table so that we're able to pick whatever we want to pick. What then do we want to pick? We start from the product ID. We come here, Control C, come here and drop it. Come down. The next thing we're going to do is PP again, and we're going to pick name. We're going to pick name, we'll put it. Then we can change the name and call it product name. Then we go again. This time around we are going to pick from a different what do you call it now? We're picking from the product subcategory. We're going to product subcategory. And we're going to pick the name here. So we'll place it here. So that we have two names that are similar. So we have to change it and give it something in product subcategory to differentiate it. Now we also give it an alias. So product subcategory, we now call it as product subcategory. This is what we name this one as product sub. Observe the way we write names in SQL. We don't separate it, we join it together. Join it together. That's the convention. So we'll continue. The next thing is we are going to pick product line. We're going to pick product line. So we go to the product table. Look for product line. Copy it. Product line is under PP. We got product line. So after we have done that, we now come down and ask from which table. Use capital letter. From which table are we picking this work from? Remember, we are doing join. So we start from the first thing first. Production product is the first thing we are doing. So we pick production product table. Remember that everything will be covered. Production product table, we now give it as alias, which has we have been seeing since here, which is PP. So once we have done it, the ones under PP will be taken care of. Now the next thing is We now go ahead to go and do what? Our joining. And we're going to do inner join. Inner join. So we are joining what? Product subcategory. Product subcategory is what we are joining. So we go to product subcategory and copy the table name here. You see, because another table, the first table has been taken care of. I will give it as alias. And the name is what? PPSC, as we have already indicated earlier. So PPSC. After doing that, we now ask on what are we joining? What is the joining factor? Which is very, very important. So we are looking for keys in which we are going to join these two tables. That means those keys are those names that are similar to the two tables, or those factors that are similar to them. Not all. You can pick one. Sometimes you can do more. So when we go to this joining and we go to the product and we look at the product table first and see what is there that is very, very. First of all, we look at the subcategory. We have product subcategory and product category. And when we come here, we have product ID. We have weight and the rest, product subcategory and product ID model. So you can join this. First of all, PP is on the product table. What are we joining there? We are taking product ID. Later I will send a material that will help you to have a schematic of all the tables. I'm going to send that by message, all the tables, so that you can see how to do your joins without going to the hazard of looking at this. You can open the book and see what is joining what. So after you have done that, you are joining it on PPSC. Now, what product are you going to join? Of course, PPSC2 has its own primary key. So you can say to use the production subcategory. You can use the production subcategory ID, the product subcategory ID as a joining factor. So primary key to primary key. And you can see that there's no red line. That means it's okay. Go ahead and run it and see what it will give us. How many rows is the answer going to come? See, we'll have answer just 4 rows. Just 4 rows, but it has given us what is common between these two tables. That is what is common between these two tables. Okay. So we move ahead. Let's see if we can join let's see, let me go to sales order header, for instance. Let's see what we can do. Let's join sales order header, sales order header, on sales revenue. We're trying to see if we can join sales order header on sales territory. So the question is why do we pick what we pick? For the sake of learning, we need to look at those ones that are not and not too much ambiguous, so that you can be able to draw the insight or the idea. Then when we have done that, you can now go to the ones that are more difficult, and you can also use the idea to dismantle it, because it is based on the same principle. So for the says, we're looking at table, says other table, and another one says territory. So we start by taking the select statement and we're selecting everything. So after that, we write our form. Where are we taking our table from? And the table it says other header. So that is what I'm looking for here. Let's close this. So session of header is under S. So come down. Says other header. This is other header. Copy it. Put it here. Says other header. The next thing, says other header, will give it alias to shorten the word. So the next thing is inner join. We're going to look at other joins too. Get conversation with one, then we'll move ahead. So inner join. And what are we joining? We are looking at the territory, the sales territory. That is the second table we want to look at. So sales territory. And we'll also give it what an alias as ST sales territory. So what are we joining these tables on? So we'll now put the on statement. Just follow it step by step. So when we go to the on statement, the sales territory ST, we are looking for the key that can be able to be joined with the other table. So for the sales territory, let's open it up and see what is inside. We have territory ID, we have country region code, and let's go to sales order header. Sales order header, let's open it too. We have sales order ID, we have custom, you see we have territory ID. So territory ID is there for the two, so there's no need to go further. We'll pick it. It is when those ones are not there, you can always go to see the ones that have relationship that can also fit in. So we are calling it with sales order header, and it's the same ID territory that is there. So once we have done that, we can be able to come out and execute and see what the outcome will be after we have done this coding. See that we have 31,465 rows that was able to be joined in this interaction. That is what we have been able to see here. So we do let me see. I'm looking at the time. Okay, let's see if we can finish this one. Then see how the time goes. If we can finish this, then I want to call it a day. Then the note will help you to solve similar challenges and also get your answer adequately addressed. So let's go ahead. So we join employee table, to person table. Then to business entity address. address, then to address table, then to address table. So this is what we are going to do now. So we are going to join three tables here. Employee table. Remember we have been touching employee before. We are going to join it to person table. Then we now move ahead to join them to business entity table. Then to address table, which is 4 tables. You're wondering why doing this long join? It is always aimed at getting a solution. So that is all we are looking at, getting a solution. So to join the table, take it step by step. So what is the first thing to do? Let's close this table that we just used in finishing the last work. Close those tables. Then we will now come and then write our select statement. First thing to do, select statement. So we are using our codes or our abbreviation to help reduce the weight of confusion if we don't do that. So HRE, we stand for human employee, human resource employee. So to go, what are we picking? We are picking business entity. So we'll go to human resource employee under H, human resource employee under H. We open it up. So we pick our business entity. What else are we going to pick from human resource employee? We now do what is called concatenation. Concat is bringing 2 tables together, and we use the concat terminology. What are we concating? So under concat, we are adding another table because we are bringing plenty tables. So person PPER, which is person table. What are we concatenating it with? So we'll go to person table under P and see person table, and we open it up. What are we picking here? We are picking the first name. Pick the first name. Control C. Put it here. Control V. After you have picked the first person name, you want to join it with the last name. That is why that concat is there. So you put up the comma, then you put single apostrophe and end with comma. This will give you space for your name and your surname. If you don't do that, the name will be muddled up. So after we have done that, we now go ahead to complete the bringing of name. So we're now going to use the PPR again. PPR dot, then you go again and bring the last name. Bring the last name, paste it. So after you have done that, the next thing to do is to bring in another HRE. Another important factor, and what is that we are now going to bring in the job title. Job title under HRE, this is person, human resource employee. Continue from there. Job title. Remember, what we are doing is the way we want it to appear. That is how we are doing it. So, Control V. After job title, we're going to pick another thing, which is the birth date, the year the employee was born. Control C. After that, that's HRE. That will be on the same page. Don't forget. The next thing is we're going to look at the address line and the city. We're going to get that from a different table. We're going to get that from a different table. So we're going to go to person address. So you abbreviate it with PA, person's address dot. So come here to look for person address under P. This is person address. So we open it up. So in person address, we are picking some few things, one or two things. So we're going to pick the address line. So come and look for the address line 1. And we Control C and Control V. The next thing we are going to do in the same table, person address, is the city. We'll come and pick the city, Control C, put it up. After we have done that, we now go down and use another function which we call dated if. I've used it before. Dated if. I want to know the year which the person started work amongst others. So these are the functions that can help us to get those critical information. So the year YY is there, HRE, which is the human resource employee. Because we're going back to human resource employee, what are we going to do? We want to know when this staff was actually employed. So we go to human resource employee table and we'll go to hire date. Put it up, Control C. Place it here. So after we have done that, we put our comma, then we use the function get date function. So get date function is a function, so it always have this space. So that then so after you have gotten get date function, now give it an alias, how we want to see it. And we are saying that get date function is should be called year. What do you call it now? We call it year at service. That means the number of years this particular employee has served. Let's just put a note so that it can help us. So it helps us finds out how long, finds out how long time duration employee helps us to find out how long this employee has been working in a given establishment. So after that, now we now go now to begin to look at the table. We have now come to point of joining now. So from the first thing we are doing is human resource employee, and the human resource employee, we pick it, the table, Control C, and place it here, Control V. Human resource employee, we have been seeing it occur here, so as human resource employee. So we have done that. We have taken care of one resource employee. Those red line has left there, other ones are still there. So the next thing is our inner journey. Inner journey. So what are we joining? So the inner join, the first thing we're going to join is the table, person table. So we look for the person table under P. This is the table we are going to join. So copy it, Control C, inner join, Control V. Person table, and we have an alias for it, and we call it PPER. You see, the person table that I've been using are all cleared of red line. So we'll continue. After we have done that, we now ask ourselves on what basis are we joining these two to what is the common criteria that we are using to join these two tables. So for the person table, PPER, we go to the person table and look at the keys there. I have business entity as the only key, so we'll carry the key, Control C, and bring it here. So we equal it. Now, which table are we joining this? That's the next question. We're joining it on human resource employee. So we'll go to human resource employee and see what table do we have here. Human resource employee. So you have the same business entity. So we have almost similar or the same table, or which the same column. So we put it here. We have been able to join this, but we know the assignment didn't finish there. A lot of things is still on. We have done one, the first inner join. We are going to go again to do another inner join. So this time around, what are we going to join? We are joining the person business entity address, because it's part of what we are asked to do here. So you go back to your table and look at under P, person business entity address here. So you copy it, Control C. We give it an alias, call it as person business entity address, PBEA. So when we have done that, that is the inner join. We now ask ourselves, on what basis are we doing this join? So we say person business entity address dot. We now go to person business address and open it and look at the keys we have. We have primary business entity ID, we have address ID, we have address type ID. So we are going to use the business entity ID because it's most likely is going to be the same for whatever factor we want to join it. So have this put equal to. Now we're joining it on what? On human resource employee. Human resource employee. And human resource employee also have the same key, primary key. So I will just do Control V and I have it here, human resource employee. But see, we will have one more join, one more inner join to conclude this. So inner join again. So it means that you can do as much join as possible. So inner join, what are you joining? We have person address. So we'll go back again and see person address should be up. Under P. This person address. So copy it, Control C, joining person address, and we are using an alias as PA, person address. So what is the basis of joining the person address? Say PA, under person address we have address ID. Address ID. So we take off the primary key and put it up here, Control V, and it's equal to, we go again, where are we joining it with? We're joining it with person business entity address ID. So we're joining with PBEA. So when we go to that person business entity address, business entity address, we see that we have address ID. So we pick the address ID to see, come here and put it here, Control V. So after we have done this, you see that there is no more red line. We have been able to look at all the factors that was asked: employee table, human resource employee, person to person still, business entity address, and address table have all been captured. So we now go ahead and execute. So click on execute, and this is our result. We have 290 rows that was able to be gotten from this enterprise. We have business entity, no column name. That means we did not give an alias to it. Job title is taken care of. Birth date, address line 1, the city, year at service. These are the years that they have served. Some of them are 14, 13, as the case may be. Remember, with the input maybe a where clause where we can able to select or grade it or kind of filter it. I think this we are good to go. The remainder we can able to go through them at the notes and increase your vocabulary of the use of SQL and joins. So by our next class, which is tomorrow, we'll be working on union. We'll be working on union. Then by possibly next week, we should be rounding up on the structure query language. I think I'll be stopping here today. You have a lovely day. Thank you. I'll continue to expand the knowledge. Bye-bye.